Who are those here? Without say hi. Say hi if you're live. Ah, okay. Let's wait for everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Say hi if you're live. Okay. So today we're starting Valerie, thank you for joining so early. So today we're talking about the topic yes, something really very interesting. We're talking about sex today. If you can hear me, say hi. Let me just be sure my mic is connected and is working properly. So we're talking about the spiritual meaning, the spiritual implications, and the spiritual side of sex. If you can hear me, just say hi. Oh wow, from Cameroon. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you can hear me. That's what it means, right? Okay, so let's just dive into it. You see, this topic I'm going to teach you, this part of sex, sexual intercourse, I'm going to explain to you. I wish this is what every form of religion and spirituality, particularly the Abrahamic religion in church, I wish this is what they had explained to us about sex. Now, I need you guys to let me know if you can hear me. I haven't had anybody say they can hear me. Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. Oh, am I speaking to myself? Let's see. Let me type in there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear? Okay, you can hear me sound and clear. Wow, awesome. All right, then I don't need to type. Okay, so you can hear me. Yeah, we just needed to settle that. So I was saying that I wish this is the way they explained sex to us, and they did not just tell us that sex is a sin, like random sex. It's a sin if you meet with people randomly. It is a sin. But in the real sense of it, if it is just a sin, if the only thing about it is that it's a sin, then why is there so much emphasis on it? Or as against other forms of sin. I mean, people do stuff every day. You lie, you steal, you cheat, you keep malice, you get upset with people, and you ask God to forgive you, and that's all. But when it comes to sex, you know the way they treat sex in church. Like if there's an evidence to show that there's a leader or there's a worker in church that is engaging in intercourse outside of marriage, they literally yank the person off, like the church setting and everything like that. But how come they do not yank you off when they find out that, oh, you lied, or you kept malice with your sister or your mother for like 2 weeks, you didn't speak to them? Or if the wife of an elder in church comes to church to say, my husband has been angry, he has been yelling at everybody in the house, he has been calling us all sorts of nasty names, he has been keeping malice. They don't go to the people the next Sunday and say, because Apostle James' wife complained that he's keeping malice, we are suspending him from the church altar. No, they just make peace. But when it comes to sexual sin, they deal with it like this. Now, I am before I started African spirituality, I came in from church, right? And I attended one of those churches where sex is seen as, like, if you don't, let me use that word, but if you end somebody's life, they feel like God can forgive you for that too. But when it comes to sex, it's just like there's just that, the way they made it look like. So, that instilled a lot of fear. The moment, in fact, not even sex, if a boy touches you, that's the end. You have committed a sin, you are going to hell. And that fear kept a lot of us, I mean, somebody like me, I was a virgin until I got pregnant with my first child. That was in my late 20s. Not because of anything, but because we grew up thinking that the moment you do it, God can absolutely not forgive you, particularly for that part of the Bible that says that flee fornication. Everything that you do, every other sin you commit is outside your body. But you see, this particular one, you are committing it against yourself and the Spirit of God in you right now. Hold that thought and let's break it down. So, you can do, okay, I'm trying to stay within the course of what I have. so that we don't miss out on anything. Now, let me explain to you what sex means from the perspective of spirituality, African spirituality per se. Now, when there is an intercourse between a male and a female, it is literally a bonding of souls. I'm sure you have heard that before. But you know what you probably haven't heard before? Now, let's think about it. The only thing that we can do as human beings that is synonymous to the divine, that is absolutely the same thing that the divine does, I'm talking about creating a life. It starts with an intercourse. Meaning that the power that the divine has is the same power we duplicate when there is conception between the male sperm and the female eggs. That conception gives us the power to create life the way the divine creates life. That's the closest we can ever get to divinity. Now think about it. When a child is formed with the fluid that is exchanged between a man and a woman, that child is a product of both of them. Understand the fact that if you want to have half caste, or what some people will call mixed race or mixed breed, you cannot stay within being married to or having intimacy with somebody of your same race. You have to go and look for somebody of another race, meaning that you are bringing in everything that has to do with that race with your race. You are mixing it together to produce a child that is half caste or that is mixed. Now, you didn't have to cut a part of the Asian people and then cut a part of the black people and glue it together before you can have a child that is mixed. No. All you need is the fluid of a man who is African, the fluid of a woman who is Asian, mix it together in sex, and another mix of human life is formed with the genes and the attributes from here and there. Now think about it. When you have a child, when a child is born, some children will look like an aged grandmother. Some children will look like their grandfather's sister. You've seen kids like that. As the child is growing up, the parents start to notice some attributes in the children, and it's like, the way this child talks reminds me of my grand uncle. Meaning that at the time that sex was happening between that man and that woman, okay, one of them was carrying the trait from their generations. Grand uncle that maybe the man and the woman who slept together don't even know. They carried that trait. Okay, so let's say that from the man's side, their child is acting like or looks like the father's grand auntie. The man never saw his grand auntie. His mom saw the grand auntie. So the mom knows that this child is acting like the grand auntie. Now, the man has brought the trait of his grand auntie, the looks of his grand auntie. He has brought it and he deposited it into his wife. They both don't know the grand auntie. But the fluid has carried all those things, deposited it into his wife, and formed a child. That's the simplest way to explain sex spiritually. The moment you are having intimacy with somebody, the person is carrying everything that his family and his lineage stands to represent. Everything, good, the bad, the ugly, the blessings, the curses, the what have you. The person is carrying it and depositing it into you. It's as simple as that. Now, some very smart fellow is probably watching this video and is saying that, oh, well, as long as you use a CD, you use a condom, no fluid is exchanged. Are you being serious right now? Condom, that plastic rubber thing, is going to protect you from things that are transmitted sexually. even things that are transmitted physically. The manufacturers tell you that it doesn't give you 100% guarantee. Now, a lot of people feel like, okay, that only happens when there's conception, when there's a child. Even if there is no conception, the fluid has entered into your system. It is there in your system. It has mixed with you. It has mixed with your entire personality and your entire being, and it is there. When conception is going to happen, it takes just one sperm. Millions have gone. Just one matches with the woman's own, and boom, a child is born. The rest of those sperm that is flowing, the rest of the eggs that is produced, the other fluids that was exchanged, where do you think they go? They stay in you. And those fluids carry not only physical traits, which is why when a child is born, the only thing that a child is born with is not just the physical looks of the father and the mother. There are some people's family that they are super genius and super smart. It looks like smartness is generational with them, is genetic. It goes from great grandfather to father to child to uncle. Some families have it. Is that not why we jokingly say online that when a Yahoo boy marries a slave queen, who is going to be doing homework for their children? It's a joke, but think about it. It's because we feel like a Yahoo boy is not academically sound. A slave queen is not academically sound. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, so many people, before you get married, you make research about the family, particularly their health history. Think about it. You are from a family that you guys don't have any health complication, no known health history. Nobody's had diabetes, nobody's had hypertension, nothing. Then you have sex with a man whose family is known to have a certain blood condition, right? The moment you conceive with that man, your child is likely to have that gene of that health condition. Meaning that from that moment, that health condition that did not exist in your family begins to exist. That is exactly how the spiritual side of sex happens. When you meet with somebody, you are carrying everything they are coming with. Things that they know and things that they don't know. Now, the sad part of it, the worst part of it is Sandra has slept with James. The two of them has mixed generational, everything that is coming from Sandra, everything that is coming from James. James has deposited a part of him in Sandra. Sandra has deposited a part of him in James. Now, off they go. James goes home to sleep with his wife. Her name is Stella. James has brought a part of Sandra and deposited it into Stella. Stella is carrying a part of somebody she doesn't even know, somebody she doesn't even have an idea of. Haven't you heard stories when people will say that they notice that at the time when they started to be intimate with a particular person, male or female, things started working out for them? And some other people will say when they started being intimate with a certain group of people or a certain person, things started going down for them. You probably haven't experienced this as a person, but it's a real thing. People experience it. Now, all of that just came because you are intimate with somebody you don't have an idea of. Now, I don't mean to scare you. The only thing that you pass into people through intimacy, intercourse, is not just the evil thing. The good things too, you deposit them. I have worked with certain women who will tell you that they notice that once they start to date a man, things just begin to go well for the man. Any man they are dating, his businesses begin to go up, everything about him starts to go up. Even if at the time they break up with that man, the man doesn't want them to go because he himself is seeing what is happening when the two of them are together. Some people, husband and wife, if the wife is angry with the man, everything about him goes down. Now, these things are real things and they are sexually transmitted. So I feel like if religion, if church organization, religious, whatever, if they had explained to us from childhood that this is the reason we should stay away from sex, other than sex is a sin. See, sin is the least of your problem with sex. So, yes. I mean, people are virgins at 20 something, 30 something, and we look at them as, wow, she's a good girl, she's very moral, she's very, but you see that same good girl, she lies once in a while. She cheats once in a while. She takes things that is not hers once in a while. She's angry with her sisters. She yells. She calls people all sorts of names. But with that one is, as long as she's a virgin, it's good. And that is why, when you come from religion, they tell you that everything else you do, God can forgive you. Now, that is why people are constantly engaging in random, stupid, and nonsense sex, because they feel like the only thing about it is a sin. So if God can forgive me for every other thing, I can always go ahead and sleep with this person, ask God to forgive me, and it ends there. It doesn't end there. In fact, that is the list of your worries. Sexually transmitted diseases and infection is the least of your worries. Unwanted pregnancy is the least of your worries. As terrible as those things are, that is the least of your worries when it comes to sex. You should be more worried about what you are taking into yourself. Now, just like when two people come together to have children, there are some genes that we call dominant genes, and there are some genes that we call recessive genes. Now, the dominant genes will always show. There are some people's family, when you look at their nose, you will know. Like back in the day, if you bring a child to that family that does not have that certain shape of ear, they will tell you that child is not their child. Those genes are dominant. Some genes are recessive. Like when there's an albino man and a non-albino woman and they conceive, their child is not likely to be albino. Maybe not in this generation. Maybe in the next, maybe 2 or 4 generations after. The albinism is recessive, is there. It will show somewhere in the future. It's the same thing. You see all those things you are taking into yourself from different sexual partners, and you feel, I've been doing it and there's nothing that is happening to me. Everything about my life is going on well. Don't worry. Some of them are recessive. If it doesn't show up in this your lifetime or in this part of your life, it shows up somewhere in the future, or probably in the future of your children. And you know the interesting thing about the divine and the universe, when those things show up, nobody tells you that this is showing up because you randomly were intimate with somebody. Now, why would you want to expose yourself and the future you are building to something you know nothing about just because you cannot control yourself? Why would you want to do that? And if you understand sex from this point, then nobody needs to tell you not to do it. I mean, we all want to be kind, loving, and caring. You want to see somebody on the road who needs help with their luggage, you want to help them. You want to see the old woman in the market who is trying to cross the road, you want to hold her hand and carry her luggage. But you see that kindness, you don't want to do it in an airport. Yes, because you know that chances are that that woman that is calling for help in the airport, she probably has some contraband in her luggage. And if they find your fingerprints on that luggage, you might stand the risk of a life sentence. You don't want to take random packages for people. Oh, please help me add this to your luggage. When you get to UK, somebody is going to pick it up. As wonderful as that gesture is, most people are not doing it again. Why? Because you know what it can cost you to carry something that is not yours. Now, think about your body and your life in that sense. You don't go to an airport and open your travel luggage and say, oh, I just weighed my bag, it's 10 kg and minimum of 23 kg or 25 kg. Does anybody have anything they don't know where to put it? Come and dump it into my bag. I will help you carry it. You won't do that. So why would you wake up every day just opening yourself to random people pouring everything about their life into you? Because those things will stay in you. Those things will manifest in you. Now, I told you to hold a thought at the beginning, where the Holy Book says that flee from fornication. So let's rearrange it and say flee sexual sin, right? Everything that a man does is outside his own body. But you see that sexual sin is a sin against yourself and against the Spirit of God that is in you. Now, that Spirit of God, different religions call it different things. The Christians will call it the Holy Spirit. In other forms of spirituality, they say your higher self, your inner man, your whatever it is, your head. In Yoruba form of spirituality, in Ifá religion, we call it your Ori and your Eleda. So the moment you see, when you bring anything into you, as regards sex, it's not a sin against God per se. It's not a sin against any other person. It involves you and your body. Do you know who you are hurting? You are hurting yourself and your spirit guide. Now, excuse me, let me break it down from Ifá religion. We call it your Ori. Your Ori is your head, representing your spiritual head. And your Eleda, Eleda is your creator. Now, not creator as in the creator of heaven and earth, who is Olodumare God. Creator as in the personal creator of your own destiny. Okay? Now, your Eleda was the one that made this journey of life that you are coming to live. Your Eleda has the map of this journey. You have been born into this world. Your head and your creator, your Ori and Eleda, is trying to align everything for your life in a particular order, trying to bring the right people, help you to make the right decisions, and you have started making progress. Then poof, you go off, get intimate with one random person whose life has nothing to do with yours. In fact, the person's life is the opposite of yours. Then you allow all those things to enter into you through pleasure of how many minutes? For those of you that use steroids, how many hours? You now bring it into you. Then the journey that your head and your creator has been guiding you to, the journey that the Holy Spirit, your spirit guide, the divine, the universe, has been guiding you on. You have made progress of 500 steps. 5 minutes pleasure. You scatter everything. Please, who is the first person that you have hurt? Your Ori, your Eleda, that your spirit guide has been helping you build, and yourself. You have messed up everything. Like you are building something, you just use your hand to scatter it. Some of you, your Ori is still trying to make 10% success. Just 10%. You are almost 40. The only success you have made is 10%. Then you now have sex with one random girl or one random boy. Then you go from 10% to 5 to 2 to 1 to 0. Some of you minus. For what? No, think about it. For what? If the only thing you heard is that sex is sin, you have not heard anything. It is more than that. The moment you start to understand sex from where it is, which is why I tell people, you see, when you are married or you are in a committed relationship, if the only reason your partner is not going to cheat on you is because they love you, you're in trouble. Because your partner will not always love you every minute of the day. There are some moments when you hurt your partner deeply and they're upset with you and they feel like, this moment I don't love you. Let me go and do what I want to do. Even as a parent to a child, is it every minute that you love your children? Is it at every point that you will do everything unconditionally for your children? We are human beings. We cannot always do that. So if the only reason you will not cheat on your partner is because you love them, you're in trouble. Oh. That your relationship is in trouble. Until you get back to the foundation of sex in spirituality, particularly in African spirituality, where you know that the moment you join with somebody, you are carrying everything that person has. Not only that person, you are carrying what they are bringing from their father, from their mother, from their grand aunties, from their ancestors, plus the people that they've slept with. You are packing everything into you. When you understand that that is the first consequence of sin, you will not do it. It doesn't matter whether you got married in church, or whether you got married in the mosque, or whether you got married in the court, whether your wife will catch you or your husband will know. If you are keeping sexual relations, the knowledge of it from your partner, and you think that because your partner does not find out, you have outsmarted them, you are the biggest fool. Because you cannot outsmart yourself. You cannot outsmart your destiny. You cannot outsmart your future. And that explains why a lot of you are just roaming around like this in circles in life. I'm not here to project anything moral. I don't care what you do with yourself. I don't. It's between you and your God. That one is on your business. African spirituality is not even up about, oh, one sin and this sin and this sin. African spirituality is about cause and effect, decision and consequences. What African spirituality will sit down and teach you is the consequences of everything. The moment you understand the consequences of things, nobody needs to tell you not to do it. When you are traveling at the you're at the airport, your family has dropped you off there. Do they call you every 2 minutes to say, don't touch anybody's bag, don't collect anything from a stranger, so that they will not find your fingerprints where they're not supposed to find. Then 2 minutes later, your sister will call. Make sure you don't take anybody's bag. Is that what they do to you? No. The only thing they have to tell you is the story of a man who carried somebody's bag and his fingerprints was on it. And they checked at the other side of the airport and find out that there was drop. They ran his fingerprint, they found him there, and they sentenced him to 25 years in jail. That's all you need to hear. The day you hear that story, you have sense. You know the consequences of that action. You will have sense. The same way they are supposed to tell you what the consequences of sex is. The consequences of sex is not just unwanted pregnancy and STDs and cheating on somebody, hurting somebody, and committing sin. All of those things is fixable. If a woman gets pregnant and she doesn't want to keep it, she can remove it. If a man has STD or STI, he can treat it. It's a sickness. People have one sickness or the other. If sex is a sin, you can ask God to forgive you. If God can forgive you for killing and lying and whatever, He will forgive you of sex. But it's more than that. Now, I think I wrote some other things here that I have not mentioned. Let's see. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So I feel like I've touched on everything. Now, that is why you find out that when somebody who practices spirituality, like I do, or somebody who is close to a spiritualist, there's certain spiritual things that you do on yourself that in case you're about to have sex with someone and you don't have the time to check, oh, let me check if this person is okay, which is a normal thing you're supposed to do. Let me even start from there. So we have stated the problem. So Ewa, what's the solution? How do we do this? Your number one freest solution is abstinence. When you're not supposed to have sex, don't have sex. If the urge is on you and you feel like your body is burning like this, remember that 5 minutes that you're about to just go and gish your body, that 5 minutes can turn the course of your destiny around. The same way you're at the airport and you remember that if I touch this bag that is not for me, my fingerprints can get me somewhere good. Don't let's say otherwise. You resist the urge too. Even if you meet your friend who has helped you back in school, was one that helped you with your exams, helped you with school fees. If you meet him at the airport today and he says, quickly help me give this thing to your sister, you'll be saying no. So if you can say no at that point, learn. Let your sense tell you to say no when there is an opportunity of random sex. Because after you have done it with condom, use 7 condoms, you are still passing spiritual issues to yourself. So if you are going to be intimate with somebody, do spiritual checks on them. Find out what they are carrying. Find out if it aligns with you. And if at any point you find yourself in a situation where, like people that are forced into it against their own will, just like the way we tell them to go to the hospital immediately, let them flush everything out of your system so that you do not have any conception, so that you don't have any STDs and all of that. The same way, if you find yourself in a situation where it was against your will uncontrollably and you have had intercourse, the next thing you're supposed to be thinking about is not postinol. The next thing you're supposed to be thinking about is how to do a spiritual cleansing for yourself immediately, to cleanse whatever it is out of your system. Which is what I tell people, even married women, I tell them, On a monthly basis, do sexual cleansing for yourself. You don't know where your husband has gone to. Some of you know, and you want to remain in that marriage. That one is left to you. It doesn't have anything to do with me. But I don't think that you should continue to be somewhere receiving something that might be putting your own future at risk. And if you must, constant cleansing for yourself. For the people that your consent and your time of choice allows you to choose who you want to be with, do spiritual consultation for them. Check those people. Check them before you go ahead. Find out what it is. Most forms of African spirituality that I know will not tell you don't have sex with somebody because it's a sin. No. They will tell you because of the consequences. So find out. Now, there is another thing that spiritually conscious people and spiritually powerful people do. You have some spiritual work on yourself. I'm sure you have seen this in one of these African shows or African movies. The man is about to meet with a certain girl. And because he has done some things on himself, in Yoruba, we call it ajesara, like you have done either through incision or through something you have eaten to protect you sexually. So in case somebody is trying to, you have checked somebody and it's okay. The consultation said you and the person align sexually. What they are bringing in is not going to mess up your life. In between your last consultation and today, you don't know where they have gone through, where they've gone to and who they've been with. You do those things on your body in whatever form it comes. Now, the moment you want to meet with somebody whose spirit does not align with your own, your body there's a reaction you have in yourself and you immediately stop it. I remember very well from Funke Akindele's series in the days of Jennifer, not Jennifer Diary, before Jennifer Diary, the Jennifer movie, part one, part two. I think it was when she first started with her girls, right? She was going to see one man, and the man immediately noticed that she has gone to do something on her body, and the man beat her blue black. If you remember that particular movie, yes, that's how it happens. So people that are in places of high-ranking, powerful places, politicians particularly, heads of organizations that know that their competitors and opponents are targeting them. As men, the fastest way they target these men is through these random girls, through sex. Because they know the power that sex carries. Not to blackmail them, oh, no. Nobody needs to see. They don't need camera to say, oh, he was having sex with somebody. No. They have done something in that girl. They've given that girl something. The moment he sleeps with a man, poof, his career will just start to go like this, like a pack of cards. So a lot of these people have spiritual fortification on themselves. So these are the ways you can take care of these things. Now, understanding the fact that you cannot 100% control sex, meaning that if you are married, if you're having sex within the confines of a committed relationship, you don't know what your partner is doing. So 3 things I've mentioned here. Do a consultation before you pick the next person you are going to sleep with. That is in the context of a relationship, even if it is the context of paid sex. As long as you know the person that is coming, check. Don't go and use your money. You use your money to pay for sex that will destroy your life and the life of the innocent woman that is in your house or the innocent man. Because it's not only men that do these things. So first of all, you do a consultation if it fits into that situation. Secondly, the moment you are done with any sexual activity, whether with your committed partner that you trust with your liver and your kidney, do a cleansing. It's just for your own good. And it's not so, as long as you are sexually active, it's not something you do one year and you say, oh, I've done it last year, let me wait until next year. I don't think I need to remind you that. As often as you are engaging in this, do it. And the third one, if you are somebody that you know that sex is your weakness, No matter how much we shout and we talk, you will still have random sex tomorrow. Nobody can help you. In fact, you cannot help yourself. And I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. Some people legit have addiction with sex, just the way people have addiction with other things. Some people are even going through therapy for it. I understand that, and it's a genuine thing. If you fall in that category, or you fall in the group of people that you know that your competitors are likely to come at you with sex, you just know that I'm in a situation where I feel like it's more than the ordinary person. Get certain protections in your body. The same way you will go and get condom to protect yourself from STD, at least to the percentage that is guaranteed. Get spiritual protection in your body against it. You are a girl and you're a sex worker. It's your job, is what you do. I'm not condemning you. I'm not hailing you. I'm not encouraging you. I don't have anything to say about it. But if that is your job, this is what is called occupational risk. The risk of the job you are doing is everything we just stated. Get strong spiritual protection in you, so that the moment somebody is carrying something that does not align with you, you see all these men that go around targeting sex workers to use them for different unspeakable things. Protect yourself. If you have chosen that as a career, the same way an engineer will wear helmet, the same way a cyclist will wear helmet, the same way doctors in hospital have all these gadgets all over their body, that is your own occupation. Get the protection that it requires. All right, we had a fun day today in it. So let me tell you, like I said, sit down with your partners and explain sex to them from this perspective. So that the only reason you are sure that your man is not going to cheat on you, or your woman is not going to cheat on you, the only reason should not be, oh, he's born again, I trust him, he's committed, he's a very strong Muslim, he cannot do it. That's not it, though. Committed people and very strong people can fall because they are human. And you know what? Because your husband is a wonderful man, you have to forgive him. But having forgiven him of the sin of sex, are you the one that is going to forgive him of everything he has brought from Sandra and Inkichi and Blessing and Tosin and Aisha? Are you the one that is going to? Can you forgive those things away? No, you cannot. So have this conversation with your partners. Have this conversation with your daughters. Have this conversation with your friends. Have this conversation with... Share this video. After this video is done, it will be saved here. It will be on my YouTube channel. Share this video with as many people. We are not preaching morality. We are telling you the consequences of these things. Do those cleansings regularly. If you have never heard about sexual cleansing, right? After this video, just send a DM. Some of you will think, she's trying to sell a product. Don't buy. Continue having random sex. Don't buy. You see that random sex is going to lead you into one big trouble. Come back when that one has happened. I'm waiting for it. That time I'll be able to charge you a lot of money because this product that you're buying is cheap. But when you have gone to sleep with one girl that is carrying garbage, rotten garbage, and she pours it into your white life that you have been building, then you now start running helter skelter. You will still come out spiritually. You will remember me that day. You remember that, there's this woman on Instagram that will not keep her mouth shut. She just be talking and talking and talking every Sunday. You will come back to me that time and I will charge you 500K, 1 million to get you out of the problem that you can save now. So stay there and tell yourself they are marketing a product. Don't buy. The people that will buy will buy. But I'm even being very serious here right now. Spiritual cleansing, sexual cleansing, is something that everybody should do. It should be a part of your life. You can risk everything else in your life. Don't risk this. So until next week, when I come for Sunday morning live, should I tell you what we're going to learn next week? No, I won't tell you. I'll tell only those on my WhatsApp status. That's another thing. See, if you're not on my WhatsApp status, I can swear you are missing. Like people that are on my WhatsApp status, please drop comments. Tell them that you have been learning a lot of things back to back. Click on the link in the bio. It will take you directly to my WhatsApp. Just add me. I teach a lot of wonderful things every day. I love teaching. I can do it free for the rest of my life as long as I'm earning money from somewhere else. So I would always impact you with knowledge. As I learn, I teach you. As I experience, I teach you. As I do consultation, I hear from other people's experiences too. I teach you. So until next week, let me say something to you. You see, this week you are going into, when I was going to start this, a word came in for me, and that word, he said I should share that word with you guys on the live. Two prayer points for this week. I'll say it in Yoruba and then I would interpret it in English. Wọ́n ní ẹni tó bá ń bu eérú, òun ni eérú ń tọ̀. Aṣẹ́gidà tó ń ṣẹ́gi, orí ara ẹ̀ ló máa fi gbé o. Let me explain it in English. But before then, I will repeat it again in Yoruba. Ẹni tó bá ń bu eérú ni eérú ń tọ̀. Aṣẹ́gidà tí ń ṣẹ́gi nígbó, orí ara ẹ̀ báyìí ló máa fi gbé. Meaning that eru in Yoruba is ashes. The person that is packing ashes like this is the one that ashes is going to blow on. Take ashes like this and blow it away. It's still coming back to the person that is pouring it. As you are packing ashes and you are walking away, the ash is following you, is following the person. Meaning that anybody standing, sitting, flying, swimming, bathing, doing everything anywhere that they are doing it against your life, they are the ones that it will go back to. Their hands is what they will be using to carry it. It will be following them like that. The second part says, ẹni tó ń ṣẹ́gi nígbó. You see that man that is cutting trees, cutting log of wood. After he has cut it, he doesn't just leave it there and go. He's cutting it because he's going to carry it by himself. So whoever it is that they are, cutting trees of disgrace, of poverty, of problem, of sickness over your life. You see, as they are, we are not asking them not to cut it or let them cut it. But as they are cutting it, with their hands, they will tie it and carry it on their head and go. You are not the one that is going to carry it. That ashes they are blowing, you are not the one is going to come to. It's going back to them. I don't know who needs to hear this, but those are the two proverbs or prayers or instructions that I received for today for you. And I'm also going to use it myself. So let me say a word of prayer to you. Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Níbi tó ti ń pe orúkọ yín níbi, níbi tó ti ń pe orúkọ àwọn ọmọ yín níbi, àti gbogbo nǹkan tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú yín. Èdè á dì wọ́n, ẹ̀fọn á fún wọn, orúkọ ara wọn ló máa pè sí. Ẹni tó bá ń pọ̀fọ̀ ibi lórí yín, orúkọ ara ẹ̀ ló máa pè sí. Ẹni tó bá wá lóhùn ò ní sùn, òun á máa gbẹ́bọ, òun á máa gbé tùtù lórí yín. Ètùtù àtẹbọ yẹn, ibi tó bá gbé dé, á jókòó tì fún ara ẹ̀ báyìí, á máa fọwọ́ ara ẹ̀ kó jẹ ni. Lọ́lá àwọn tó ṣílẹ̀kùn ọjọ́ ìní. Tá a bá wá rí ẹni tó fẹ́ gba ibi ọmọ, tó fẹ́ fi mú yín, ẹni tó lóun ti ń lé yín títí ò rí yín bá, tó wá fẹ́ lé àwọn ọmọ yín, tó fẹ́ mú àwọn ọmọ yín, àwọn ọmọ tiẹ̀ ló máa fi rọ́pò. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ wọn báyìí lẹ máa fi wẹ̀, tẹ fi máa débi gíga láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. For those of you that don't understand Yoruba, what I just said is that anybody who is saying anything against you, sitting down to conspire things against you, making incantations against you, those powers that hold the heaven and earth will twist their memory. You see that part where they are supposed to mention your name, they will mention their own names. Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. For people that have been running after you to get a hold of you and destroy you, and they could not, and they feel, let's mess up with the life of his child, let's mess up with the life of our child. They will use their own children in place of it, yes. Anybody who is waiting for your blood to be shed in disgrace, their own blood will be used to create success for you. Everywhere you go to, you have become fire that is untouchable and unquenchable. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ fi yín ṣeré, ó máa finá ṣeré o. Ọmọ tó bá dẹ̀ finá ṣeré, iná máa jó ní láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Until next week when I see you again, please share my videos. At least you can see here, we are not doing juju. Because I know a lot of you are like, I don't want my friends to know that I listen to you spiritually. Everything you heard today, Does it not sound good? Is it not the truth? So until next week when I come your way again, I love you. Don't tell anybody, but sincerely speaking, I love you. Bye. So I'm looking for where to stop the video. I always do this every time. Let me see. I haven't found it. I think I have found it. I keep doing this every time. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah.